These cameras have captured some of the creepiest, most terrifying moments that make your skin crawl. From shadowy figures that vanish into thin air, to objects moving on their own, and strangers breaking into homes, these videos offer a peek into the mysterious and often terrifying encounters happening around us. Ghost attacks. In this video, what looks like a scene from a paranormal movie turns out to be a disturbing reality for a couple. They are asleep, oblivious to the strange events about to unfold. Pay close attention to the left side of the screen, where you'll notice a shadowy figure appearing on the wall. This shadow moves towards the wife, and in a shocking moment, she is violently pulled out of bed. The husband wakes up, finding his wife on the floor, both of them startled and confused, unsure of what just happened. The eerie occurrences don't end there. In another part of the house, this moment was caught on CCTV. A regular-looking vacuum cleaner stands idle in the room. Suddenly, it starts to levitate, as if lifted by invisible hands, and then just as unexpectedly, it crashes back down to the floor. This isn't just a random spooky moment, it's part of a series of paranormal activities that this couple has been experiencing for a while. Their home's CCTV has captured the unnerving reality they live with. Kidnap Attempt. In this video, we see a baby wearing a blue shirt sitting quietly. A woman approaches, confidently picks him up, and starts to walk away. You might assume she's the mother, given how naturally she interacts with the child. However, that's not the case. Shockingly, this woman is actually trying to kidnap the child. Her calm demeanor contradicts her true intentions as she attempts to carry the baby away from safety. Suspicious visitors. At 5 a.m. On October 6, 2022, a doorbell camera captures a pretty creepy scene. 3 guys, each wearing masks, are standing in front of a house, and each one is armed. As soon as one of them notices the camera, he covers it up with his hand, blocking whatever they're doing from being recorded. Inside, the homeowner gets an alert on his phone that there's movement at the door. Curious and a bit worried, he turns on the doorbell's speaker system and starts calling out, "Hello," to see if he can get any response from the mysterious visitors. But they just stand there silently, which really starts to freak him out. Realizing this could be serious, he quickly calls the police. It looks like these guys might have been trying to lure him outside, maybe setting him up for a robbery. Nightmare on Arcadia Street. In a harrowing incident caught on a doorbell camera in Arcadia, California, a desperate woman is seen rushing to a neighbor's doorstep seeking help. Suddenly, a man emerges from the shadows, seizes her by the hair, and forcefully drags her away from the porch. Her screams echo through the neighborhood as the confrontation escalates. A neighbor, peeking from a side window, witnesses the distressing scene. The man is seen stomping on the woman and yanking her hair in a violent display. The aggressor was identified as Robert Mendez, the victim's estranged boyfriend. He was arrested and faced charges including attempted murder and kidnapping. Bold break-in panic. We can see this guy boldly break into a house by shattering a window. He's inside and sneaking around, looking for anything valuable to snatch up. The homeowner's kid and their babysitter were out running errands when all this happened, totally unaware of what they'd find when they got back home. So they come in. The kid can be seen near the kitchen. But then, everything changes. The babysitter hears footsteps thumping from upstairs. Acting quickly, she grabs the kid and they run out, heading straight to the safety of a neighbor's house. As for the intruder, the moment he realizes he's been spotted, he makes a quick exit and vanishes. Midnight apartment intruder. Back in 2009, a guy named Joe Cummings noticed some of his food was mysteriously vanishing from his Manhattan apartment. To figure out what was going on, he set up security cameras around his place. What he found blew his mind. The cameras caught a woman entering his kitchen through a tiny door near the ceiling. She climbed down using whatever she could grab onto and landed in his kitchen. Things got weirder from there. She used Joe's sink as a toilet, then raided his fridge, drinking straight from a carton and munching on his food like she was right at home. She even kicked back and watched some TV. The plot thickened when Joe, half asleep, wandered into the kitchen for a midnight snack. This startled the intruder, and she scrambled across the room to hide, barely avoiding getting caught. Once Joe left, she was back at it, helping herself to more food before climbing back up through that weird entrance and disappearing. The next day, Joe, totally clueless about what happened the night before, was seen on camera using the same carton the intruder drank from. Later, he found out the woman was homeless and had been living in a tiny hidden space in his apartment for weeks. Kitchen chaos. This video will give you chills. Something very weird is happening in a guy's house when he's not around. And we can see it all thanks to a camera he left on the kitchen table. All the kitchen stuff starts flying around like there's some invisible force chucking things across the room. Cabinets are whipping open and slamming shut all on their own, and there's this creepy quiet until suddenly a ball just shoots into view out of nowhere. Just when you think things might settle down, it all kicks off even more. It's not just a few plates and glasses falling off the shelves. These things are zooming through the air. And it's not just the small stuff. Chairs are getting knocked over and table mats are being flung around, hitting other pieces of furniture. What do you think could be causing this? Haunted hotel. Caught on the security cams at the Carlisle Castle Hotel, where you can see what looks like a ghostly figure, just sort of waving its arm in front of the camera. It hangs around doing its spooky thing for about half a minute. Now, on the other side of the hotel, we can see there's a bartender stocking up the fridge. He opens the door, and out of nowhere, a bottle just teeters right on the edge and smashes onto the floor. But get this, right after that, another bottle sort of just pops out at this really odd angle, like something or someone gave it a nudge. But here's the kicker. The last clip is the wildest. Right in front of a bunch of guests, a glass just shatters on the bar counter. If you look real close, it kind of looks like it might have fallen from a rack above, where other glasses are still just sitting there, chilling. Emma's mysterious disappearance. Back on November 28, 2012, Emma just vanished without a trace in Victoria, British Columbia. The year before, she had moved from her hometown of Perth, Ontario, chasing her dream to start anew on the Canadian West Coast. She seemed to be doing pretty well at first, living with a friend and working at a local cafe while she looked for her own place. But as winter approached, things took a weird turn. Emma started to withdraw, and her behavior became more and more erratic. Her friends noticed she was getting caught up in obsessive-compulsive rituals and seemed to be having manic episodes. Just days before she disappeared, there was this bizarre incident at the YMCA in Victoria. CCTV caught Emma going in and out of the building several times over 14 minutes. It looked like she was either dodging someone or waiting for a ride, but obviously trying to stay out of the cold. Then, there were these intense phone calls between Emma and her mum. Emma was torn about whether to move back to Perth or stay in Victoria. Her mum decided enough was enough and planned to fly out to bring her home. The day her mum arrived, Emma was last seen looking really anxious at a 7-Eleven, buying a prepaid card and a cell phone she never ended up using, constantly peeking outside as if she was on the lookout for someone. That evening, she was seen outside the Empress Hotel, barefoot and clearly distressed. A concerned passerby even called the cops, but after they spoke to her, they let her go. That was the last time anyone saw Emma. Her mum got to the shelter only to find out that Emma had already disappeared. The search started the next day. They found Emma's van parked at a hotel, all packed up as if she was about to head out of town, or maybe even go back to Perth. But here's the really creepy part. Over the next few years, there were several strange encounters. Many people claimed to have seen her barefoot and in bad condition. Another man even claimed she was living with him. To date, it is not known what caused Emma's disappearance. Midnight intruders. Imagine waking up one morning and your cell phone is just gone. That's exactly what happened to this guy who lives alone. Worried, he decided to check his home security footage, thinking maybe he just misplaced it somewhere. But what he found was way more creepy than a lost phone. A complete stranger can be seen sneaking around inside his house. The intruder had gotten in through an unlocked back door. And here's where it gets even creepier. The video shows this guy crawling around the bedroom while the homeowner was fast asleep, completely unaware of his surroundings. But here's the really chilling part. This intruder wasn't just there to steal. He was caught on camera grabbing the phone, but he also had a knife in his mouth the entire time, suggesting he was prepared for something far more sinister if needed. But thank God, he just left with the phone. Brave escape. In Ohio, a surveillance camera caught a heart-pounding moment that could have turned into every parent's worst nightmare. 6-year-old Kennedy Nash was almost abducted right outside her home. The footage shows little Kennedy just steps from her front door when suddenly a stranger walks up, grabs her, and tries to pull her away. But Kennedy wasn't having it. She screamed her lungs out and fought to get free. Her quick thinking and gutsy reaction paid off. The guy let go of her in less than 10 seconds. The moment she broke free, she bolted back to the safety of her house. Her dad, Ricky, wasted no time either. He jumped into his car and chased after the man, all while keeping the police in the loop on his phone. Thanks to his fast action and coordination with the cops, the suspect, 33-year-old Derek McPherson, was arrested not long after. He is now facing some serious charges, including abduction and inappropriate conduct. What a relief that Kennedy knew exactly what to do in such a critical moment. Doorstep danger averted. In this intense security footage, 2 people walk up to a house and knock on the door. Just as someone inside opens it, 2 more guys suddenly come around the corner. One of them is waving what looks like a shotgun and the other has a rifle. The person inside doesn't waste a second, slamming the door shut just in time. Caught off guard by how quickly the door slams in their faces, the whole group of would-be intruders turns tail and runs off. Mysterious figure. Brianna Hernandez and her husband were just sitting down to dinner on August 22nd, 2017, when something bizarre caught their attention. Mid-meal, her husband decided to check their home security footage. What they saw next was so shocking that you won't believe it. Captured on their camera was this eerie white figure just casually passing through their yard. They managed to record this strange sighting, and once they shared the video online, it quickly went viral. People all over the internet were fascinated and freaked out by the footage. It's one of those clips that stirs up debate. Was it a ghost, a trick of the light, or something else entirely? What do you think? Hidden cruelty exposed. This video reveals something absolutely heartbreaking. It shows the distressing reality of Anne King, an 88-year-old woman with dementia, and the rough treatment she receives from her caregivers at a care home. Her family had a hunch that something wasn't right with how Anne was being cared for, so they decided to place hidden cameras to find out the truth. What they discovered is really hard to watch. In the footage, it's painfully clear how rough the staff are with Anne. They change her pads with no gentleness at all, completely ignoring her comfort or dignity. You can see the fear and distress written all over Anne's face. She's clearly not just uncomfortable, she's terrified. But it gets even worse. In one part of the video, a caregiver can be seen taunting Anne, putting a toilet cloth over her face and making mocking gestures as if trying to upset her on purpose. When Anne cries out for help, the caregiver just plays with the situation, flicking the lights on and off to confuse and frighten her even more. In another shocking scene, the same caregiver puts a trash bin over her head as if it's some kind of sick joke. There's also a clip where Anne is shoved back into her chair with force, and another where she's left on the floor for nearly an hour after refusing to go to bed. Watching this footage, it's obvious that what's happening to Anne is not just unkindness, it's outright abuse. Her family installed the cameras because they were worried, but what they found was a consistent pattern of physical and mental abuse. Purse pilferer's night raid. Back in September 2017, a couple living near Las Vegas started noticing some odd charges on their credit cards. At first, they thought maybe they'd misplaced a purse that had several cards in it, especially since the purse seemed to have disappeared a few days earlier. So, they started digging through the footage, hour by hour, hunting for any sign of what happened. Eventually, they found some pretty alarming footage, showing two guys climbing over their backyard wall and sneaking in through an unlocked back door. These intruders crept into the kitchen and started grabbing stuff, including the missing purse. The homeowners were actually asleep on their living room couch just a few feet away. If they had woken up, things could have gotten really dangerous. Knock and load. In this unsettling video, a guy shows up at the front door of a house, dressed in a hoodie, hands tucked into his pockets. He pulls one hand out to knock on the door while keeping the other one hidden. A few moments later, he sneakily takes a gun out of his pocket and silently loads it. As this tense moment plays out, another guy sneaks up behind him, holding a spanner. He just stands there next to the first guy, while the hooded guy knocks on the door again. They both keep looking around, clearly waiting for someone to answer. The guy knocks a third time, but the door still doesn't open. They keep knocking and even try to talk to whoever might be inside, but nobody responds. After several failed attempts and no signs of life from inside, they finally give up. They take one last look around before they turn and walk away from the door. What were their intentions? From their actions, it must be something sinister. Lola's kitchen mystery. So there's this video that starts with Lola, a dog who seems really uneasy about going into the kitchen. She just stands there at the entrance, not wanting to go in. The person filming notices Lola's nervousness. They pan the camera around the kitchen, but there's nothing there, no clue what's freaking Lola out. Lola takes a deep breath and tries again to go into the kitchen. But just like the first time, something feels off to her, and she quickly backs out. This time, she heads to the living room and just flops down on a pillow. After a little while, Lola gathers up some courage and goes back to the kitchen. She even makes it to her food bowl and starts eating. But then, she suddenly stops and starts backing away again, staring at something no one else can see. She tries one more time to stay and eat, but she's just too spooked and runs off. Do you think a ghost scared her so much? Did the animals see something we humans cannot? Let us know in the comments. Delivery man. Late one night in early May 2020, when the world was quiet under lockdown, a peaceful suburban home turned into the scene of a frightening home invasion. Raymond Hawkins, a 45-year-old father, thought he was opening his door to a delivery driver. The man, seemingly respecting social distancing, claimed he needed to snap a photo of the delivery as part of new safety protocols. But suddenly, the situation escalated. As Raymond bent down to pick up the parcel, the supposed delivery man, who was actually Christopher Sargent in disguise, attacked him with a knife. Instantly, 3 more masked assailants burst into the house. A violent struggle broke out, disturbing the calm of the night. We can hear the screams. The intruders quickly fled, taking with them valuables worth thousands. Both Raymond and his son were injured during the attack, with his son suffering serious injuries. The police later arrested 2 of the attackers, Anthony Lascelles and Christopher Sargent, who now face charges including burglary and weapon possession. The other 2 accomplices are still on the run. So that's it for today's video. From kidnappings to strange sightings and even ghosts, these footages are enough to send a chill down your spine. Did you ever see something creepy on your CCTV camera? Let us know in the comments down below. Also, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more future uploads like this. Until next time, keep an eye out, stay curious, and take care, because you never know what or who you might catch on camera.